It seems to be a really exciting time to be a fan of Game Boy Advance style clamshell handhelds and Miyoo devices. Because according to new official renders, Miyoo is working on a brand new handheld that looks a lot like a souped up Game Boy Advance SP. Let's take a look. Hello and welcome to Retro Breeze. The prospectively titled Miyoo 355 has been revealed via a series of patent renders, uploaded by Miyoo. These are official renders, which you can see here alongside the Miyoo Mini and the P60 renders too. In short, there's no doubt that this is the real deal and not just some fantasy fan mock-up. However, before I get too far ahead of myself, note that this is just a patent filing, and all that really means is that this device is in development in some form, and that they appear to have done quite a bit of 3D rendering for already. So there's no telling when it will come out, what exactly it will be like, if the design will change, or anything like that. So everything I'm about to tell you is purely speculation. But as you can see right now, this thing is pretty much a dead ringer of the Game Boy Advance, or the a.k.a. V90, with a flippable lid, and controls and screen on the inside. And the controls on the inside is where things get pretty interesting, because with the 355 we have a full dual analog stick setup. To me, this immediately implies that the 355 will not share the same ARM Cortex-A7 processor as the Miyoo Mini and the Miyoo Mini Plus. I'm guessing it's going to be a much more powerful device than that. After all, why would you waste a dual stick setup on basically just Ape Escape? I really think that the presence of these two analog sticks implies that this is going to be a far more powerful device than anything Miyoo's done before, which makes me really excited. There's also the mundanely iconic menu button, and the expected face button controls with a D-pad, A, B, X and Y. We'll also have shoulder buttons and triggers inline on the back of the device. Now, according to the renders, I find these sticks pretty interesting, because they do appear to be full analog sticks, recessed into the body of the device. At first thought, I thought these could be sliders, but I don't know, just looking at the renders I really don't think that's the case. Also kinda curious is this dotted part in the front. It could either just be a decoration, or it could perhaps be a central speaker. Finally, on the top right here, there's a Game Boy Advance-esque LED duo, which is most likely for power and charge or perhaps a low battery warning. In terms of screen, based on the renders and my estimated measurements, it appears to be a 3.5-inch display, so pretty much the same size as the Miyoo Mini Plus. Interestingly, there's also two USB-C ports, presumably one for charging and one for OTG/peripherals. Also, surprisingly in a Miyoo device is HDMI output. Finally, they're doing HDMI output. So what can we expect in terms of performance from the 355? Well, there's no solid information at all on this yet, but I would expect to see a minimum of PSP or Dreamcast emulation on this thing. Perhaps it'll even sport an RK3566 since those seem plentiful and easy to work with right now. Again, those dual sticks really do imply to me that this is going to be much more powerful than the previous mini devices. So you might be wondering, what would the Miyoo 355 look like compared to its brothers and rivals in the retro handheld space? And to help answer that question for you, I've taken the liberty of mocking up and 3D printing a replica of this device based on the available renders. Now do bear in mind that I don't expect this to be exactly a one-to-one representation of the renders. After all, there are no official measurements for the device available yet. However, by tracing the renders, based on the size of the USB-C port, which has a width of around 8.34mm or so, I came up with this design, which I think, at least in terms of overall size, will be pretty close to what the actual device will be. And so here is that 3D print. And I have to say this came out both better and smaller than I expected it to be. It's about a millimeter or two shorter than the a.k.a. V90, and about 5mm narrower in width. It doesn't look like much, but it feels substantially smaller than the V90 in the hands, which is all the more impressive given the control setup and the supposed screen size. In terms of controls, the face buttons and D-pad seem to be similar size to the Miyoo Mini and the Mini Plus. However, the D-pad is definitely a different shape. The analog sticks are really interesting to me though, because again, based on my estimates, they're around 13mm across. That's a whole millimeter shorter in diameter than the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con sticks, but it is more or less exactly the size of the Odin or Retroid Pocket 3 sticks. So yeah, I'm not sure if my render is like a millimeter off. I really don't think it is, but either way I think these sticks are going to be really compact, either Switch sticks or even smaller than that. I would be pretty surprised to see Odin sticks in this, but I think it would be a pretty good fit given the size of the device. Also given the very small height of the Odin sticks as well. Once again, disclaimer, this is all based on estimation. And realistically, we'll just have to wait and see. In terms of ergonomics, I feel that the controls are pretty well placed for the size of the device. Although using both sticks at once, along with the shoulder buttons, is a little bit unwieldy. You kind of have to stretch a little bit. Other than that, the device doesn't feel particularly cramped to me, and I think that's because you have so much space on the back to rest your hands on. I think that using a single stick and the face buttons will be really comfortable to use. Overall, based on this design here, I think it's pretty nice. I don't see your hands getting really cramped as you play this, honestly. It feels pretty good to me. So here's my 355 print next to the Powkiddy V90. You can see that it's slightly smaller overall, and again, it doesn't look too much smaller, but it feels much smaller. Here it is next to the Miyoo Mini. And next to the Miyoo Mini Plus. Unfortunately, I don't have a Game Boy Advance SP to compare it to. But there we have it, the Miyoo 355. I'm personally incredibly excited for this upcoming handheld, and I really hope that Miyoo do see this one through until the release. I'm expecting it to be a very compact device, and the dual analog sticks do lead me to believe that it will be a lot more powerful than the current Miyoo Mini devices. I'll be sure to keep you updated as news comes out regarding this new clamshell device. But hold on, whatever happened to the Miyoo P60? It seems to have just evaporated into thin air. Well, you might be glad to know that Miyoo tells me that it's still planned for release. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do with it, it seems to be pretty behind now, but hey, we'll see. I'm still looking forward to it, and I'll definitely pick one up if it materializes. Be sure to keep a watch on Retro Breeze for all the latest news regarding the Miyoo 355 and other Miyoo devices. Be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss any of those upcoming videos. And if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like on it as well, it helps me out a lot. This has been Shem from Retro Breeze, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.